I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the April 2021 Pensyfan Periodical, also known as the 1-year anniversary special. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First off, might as well recognize another trend in European rail service, as France has banned domestic flights that are under 2.5 hours long in order to encourage rail transport within the country. This is a major part of a growing movement in Europe known as flygskam, Swedish for flight shaming, which encourages greener forms of transportation instead of planes which pollute the most when compared to other forms of transportation. Of course, railways in France are welcoming this decision as it promotes the use of railways over the air and gives them more promotion and revenue. This also relates to another major topic in this series, as a private open access operator known as LIRR is to purchase 10 TGV train sets for future service as a result of this news. As there is an increasing movement for clean energy around the world, I can also see this working in America, where domestic flights in areas with major rail corridors, such as the Chicago hub, California services, and Northeast Corridor, New York to DC, can also be banned in order to encourage regional rail travel. This kind of promotion for rail travel could finally give railroads the upper hand against airlines, and could further encourage private and public high-speed travel on existing or even new routes. On a somewhat similar topic, Amtrak is to restore all services in Vermont in July. Hamilton to Auckland commuter service has started in New Zealand. Natinera is to order 65 BMUs and 25 EMUs. Chelyabinsk is to order STM model of 71 trams. LA Metro is to refurbish their Class P2250. Marta has advanced their Belt's light rail study in Atlanta. Delivery for the Rail Baltica high-speed train sets are said to be inspired by sun, sea, and sand. Vienna Metro has placed their X-Wagons in service, while Taiwan Railway's Class 900s have entered service. East JR Railways has placed their GMAC maintenance vehicle into service. The Yakuita Railway in Russia is testing the EMD 2TE3250. Rare Operation Lifesaver -9s are being converted into AC44C6Ms. White River Productions has acquired Diesel Era magazine. Monon 50, the railroad's first diesel locomotive which lost its cab about a year ago, is to be restored by the Hoosier Valley Museum. A GE 50-tonner has been restored and donated to the Huckleberry Railroad. Conrail Hopper has been preserved in Danbury, Connecticut, and Norfolk and Western 611 is to return to the Strasburg Railroad. Speaking of which, here are some interesting news. Both Keokuk Junction F units have been preserved in Indiana and Canada. EXO's last remaining XCP Vickers Gallery car has been preserved by Expo Rail. A proposed tourist route in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania is to be built along the route of the Lincoln Funeral Train. The LA Metro P865 has been preserved and is to be converted into either a museum or a cafe. A Metro Highliner 1 has been preserved as a training unit for the South Bend Fire Department. A sofa has been removed near East Lancashire Station as part of its renovation. LNER A4 Union of South Africa had a whistle-off with Sentio Locomotive N. The Italian Railway is to reenact the arrival of Sir Haydn and Edward Thomas. Rail Adventure has acquired and repainted Class 43 locomotives. Mick Jagger has released a coupe-related single. And a British Rail Class 08 is to be converted into a hydrogen-powered locomotive. Pretty good practice of converting old locomotives with new engines. Meanwhile, Toyota is to supply hydrogen fuel cells for FCH2 Rail. Metro is to convert their F40PHs with battery-powered motors. Lamborghini has teamed up with Rail Cargo on a Siemens Vectron. New York and Atlantic Railway was hired to lay the rails for the third track on the LIRR. The first private Turkish passenger service is targeting Japanese visitors at Cappadocia, Istanbul. VR Fleet Care in Finland is to refurbish German BD-CMZ 874.1 coaches for service on VY Tag in Norway. CRRC is looking into buying the German Transrapid M-Sled track to test their maglev trains. Caltrain is considering merging with BART. Brightline is rumored to plan commuter service to the Dolphin Mall region in West Miami. Las Vegas is considering a light rail. A leasing company in Sweden called AB Transauto is to order CAF biodiesel electric mobile units. US DOT has named a chief science officer for the first time in 40 years. My footage of an ACS-64 at Princeton has been used in the Amtrak Guide 365 Centuries of Amtrak episode on the locomotive, and a study is underway to determine the future of the Princeton shuttle. This could either result in keeping existing rail service, having it shared with a bus, or being turned completely into a busway. Personally, I go for any option which involves rail, since it's preserving the only electrified branch line in the US. But alas, we have the sad news. The Hawkeye Express, consisting of custom Pullman gallery cars and a locomotive which I covered for remarkable engines, has ceased operations due to budget cuts. Norfolk Southern has ended service for their Roanoke trash train. Progress Rail, or EMD, is to stop manufacturing at their LaGrange, Illinois plant, one of the company's largest building plants. Both Great Western Class 800s and Northern CAF units have been taken out of service due to yaw damper failures. Software problems with Class 484s have delayed the reopening of the Island Line. Western Maryland Scenic has no plans on restoring number 734, and the world is facing a gnome shortage due to a blockage from the Suez Canal. Now here's a follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. First off, the San Luis and Rio Grande Railroad is up for sale as part of Iowa Pacific's liquidation sale. The East Broad Top is to reopen on June 11th. Ameristar Rail has further discussed their plans to privatize the Northeast Corridor, while Amtrak has placed Siemens as the builder for 83 intercity train sets for service on the Northeast Corridor, which will likely replace the AM fleets. Hitachi has now joined the US high-speed rail lines. Ouigo has started testing their Euroduplex in Spain, while NJT has started testing their new batch of ALP-45s. The Pikes Peak Railway has placed their new Stadler equipment in service, while the CTA 7000 series subways have entered service. Union Pacific 1995 has been repaired and back in revenue service. Grand Central and Hull trains are restored after being temporarily suspended, while Via Rail is to fully restore service on the Canadian. CSX is to fully acquire Pan Am Railways in January of 2022. The Canadian National has retired the last of their GMD-1s, while at least one of them is reserved. Meanwhile, that very same railroad is now planning on acquiring Kansas City Southern for $33 billion, stating that their similar plan has better connections. There is a lot of news on this subject, with CP objecting to the proposal, as well as many follow-up stories and memes. But some of the most important, I feel, are CP saying that they won't raise their offer of $25 billion, even against CN's $33 billion, and that CP would have to look for a neighboring railroad to acquire for service in the region. Although this is not confirmed, based on the remaining Class 1s, CP would most likely go for Union Pacific next. I'm saying this since UP has a good amount of trackage into Mexico and Canada, and is the closest to KCS trackage, so CP would understandably go for them. Or maybe a different Class 1. Up next is the station upgrades portion for proposals, construction, and openings of stations around the world. Up first, concept art has been released of the redeveloped Penn Station, also known as Empire Penn Station, with new entrances and a lot of open space, as well as an option for 1 or 2 levels for the LIRR concourse. I'd go for the single level option for more room. Other than that, construction has started for parking in Reston, the Hampton Underground Station has become stair-free, and upgrades have been completed for Irving, Texas, Woodstock, Illinois, and Camfront. In our news, Holcim has revealed the design for their MDD-5, CZ has received the first of their dual shunter 2000s, while CLF has ordered FE shunters. DSB has ordered a new variant of the Corradius Stream. CD has ordered Siemens Viaggio cab cars and coaches. Skoda is to have their bi-level EJ675 fleet refurbished. The Stadler Wink has entered service on the Rivia NL. BKP Stadler Flirts have started testing along with SC Stadler KISS bi-levels. Renfe is to order mostly bi-level EMUs. And Awesome is to refurbish Southwestern Railway Class 458s. I know that some of you are very happy to hear that. And happy 50th anniversary to Amtrak, at least for when this video was uploaded. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is Railfans Win. And now, the top story of the April 2021 Pensyfan Periodical is Long Island Railroad to test battery EMUs. In order to reduce diesel emissions and save time with transfers, the LIRR is to convert 4 M7 multiple units to run on batteries for 8 months for testing and feasibility of these converted multiple units, as the first commuter railroad to use battery-powered multiple units. If successful, all M7s and M9s will be overhauled to run on batteries into diesel territory, where they will replace the existing diesel fleet and eliminate transfers, thus saving billions of dollars on electrification and diesel fleet replacements. This also means that the existing DE and DM38Cs are once again in the face of replacements, this time from unlikely multiple units instead of Siemens chargers. Come to think of it, if the LIRR uses B-moves for all of their routes, then the dual mode chargers would be unnecessary. This is a huge surprise from the LIRR, as they are introducing M9s and are discussing diesel replacements for their diesel branches, with no previous discussion of battery power prior to this. Even the announcement of this plan was a surprise for rail fans, as 2 M7s were transferred with 3 MP-58Cs to Oyster Bay for the first time in LIRR history as a backdrop for the official conference, and provided for a very unique rail fanning experience at Oyster Bay. As a Long Island rail fan, although sad to see the DEs and DMs be replaced, I am very interested to see these bi-mode multiple units roam the rails as another step towards a cleaner future. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching. Credit for most of the photos used go to the original photographers. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. Have a good day.